Before we dive in, please note, the following content is presented for educational and entertainment purposes only. It contains direct excerpts from federal courtroom testimony given during the Sean Diddy Combs trial. All individuals mentioned are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. In a dramatic moment that captivated Manhattan's federal courthouse, Grammy-winning rapper Kid Cudi took the witness stand to deliver testimony that could prove pivotal in Sean Diddy Combs' criminal trial. Scott Mescudi, known professionally as Kid Cudi, transformed from hip-hop artist to federal witness as he recounted alleged acts of intimidation and violence that prosecutors say demonstrate the dangerous reach of Combs' criminal enterprise. His appearance on Thursday marked one of the most anticipated moments in the trial, as the Cleveland-born artist detailed shocking allegations about home invasion, property destruction, and psychological terrorism that allegedly stemmed from his brief romantic relationship with Cassie Ventura over a decade ago. The courtroom atmosphere was tense as Kid Cudi, flanked by federal marshals, made his way to the witness stand. Legal observers noted the unprecedented nature of seeing such a prominent independent artist testify against a music industry mogul of Combs' stature. The gravity of the moment was not lost on the packed courtroom, where family members, legal professionals, and media representatives watched intently as one of hip-hop's most respected voices prepared to share his account of alleged criminal victimization. Wearing jeans and a black leather jacket, Kid Cudi arrived at the courthouse in the rain, smoking a cigarette while someone held an umbrella over him. The scene captured the gravity of the moment. A successful, independent artist compelled to testify about alleged criminal acts committed against him by one of the music industry's most powerful figures. His reluctance to speak with reporters while leaving the courthouse underscored the seriousness of his testimony and the potential personal cost of speaking truth to power in an industry where silence has long been the price of survival. The foundation of Cudi's testimony centered on events from late 2011, when he began dating Cassie Ventura during what he believed was a permanent separation from Combs. According to Cudi's testimony, Cassie had led him to believe that she and Combs had completely broken up, unaware that she was still participating in what prosecutors have characterized as ongoing interactions and using a burner phone to keep their relationship secret from Combs. This deception, while understandable given the climate of fear Cassie allegedly lived under, created a dangerous situation that would soon escalate beyond anything Cudi could have anticipated. The prosecution's presentation of Cudi's testimony was methodical and deliberate, with Assistant U.S. Attorney Jennifer Rochon guiding the witness through each alleged incident with careful precision. The courtroom fell silent as Cudi described the escalating pattern of intimidation, his voice steady but the emotional weight of the memories clearly evident. Legal experts present noted that his composed demeanor and detailed recollections would likely resonate powerfully with jurors, particularly given his status as an independent artist with no apparent motive to fabricate such serious allegations. The dramatic confrontation began in December 2011, when Cudi received a call from a nervous and scared Cassie, informing him that Combs had discovered their relationship. The discovery apparently triggered an immediate and violent response from Combs, setting in motion a series of events that would demonstrate the alleged reach and ruthlessness of his criminal organization. Later that same day, Cudi received another call, this one from Capricorn Clark, Combs' former assistant, who delivered a chilling message. Combs was inside Cudi's Hollywood Hills home, and she had been forced to accompany him there. The home invasion itself represents one of the most shocking allegations in the prosecution's case against Combs. Cudi testified that while driving home, he called Combs directly and asked why he was in his house. According to Cudi's testimony, Combs responded with unsettling calm, simply stating, "I want to talk to you." This response, delivered with apparent composure while allegedly conducting an illegal break-in, demonstrates the calculated nature of Combs' alleged intimidation tactics and his apparent belief that his power placed him above the law. When Cudi arrived at his home, he found that Combs had already left, but evidence of the violation remained. Someone had opened Christmas presents he had bought for his family. a particularly cruel touch that violated not just his property, but his personal relationships and holiday preparations. Perhaps most disturbing, Cudi found his dog locked in a bathroom, a detail that speaks to the psychological cruelty allegedly employed by Combs' organization. Cudi testified that he normally allowed his dog to roam freely throughout the house, making this confinement both unusual and threatening. Recognizing the gravity of the situation and the violation of his personal space, Cudi made the decision to contact law enforcement. This choice to involve police demonstrates both his recognition that he was dealing with criminal behavior and his refusal to be intimidated into silence. The police report he filed would later become important evidence in the federal case, providing contemporary documentation of the alleged criminal conduct rather than relying solely on memories from over a decade ago. The aftermath of the home invasion revealed the persistent nature of Combs' alleged intimidation campaign. According to Cudi's testimony, Combs sent him multiple text messages expressing a desire to get to the bottom of the situation. Cudi's response, as he recounted to the jury, was direct and uncompromising. "You broke into my house. You messed with my dog. I don't really want to talk to you." This exchange illustrates both Cudi's courage in confronting his alleged tormentor and Combs' apparent belief that he could normalize his criminal behavior through continued communication. The defense attempted to minimize the home invasion by suggesting that Cudi had left his door unlocked and that there was no forced entry or broken furniture. However, this argument misses the fundamental point that entering someone's home without permission, regardless of whether doors are locked, constitutes a serious crime. The lack of forced entry or property damage, rather than exonerating Combs, actually suggests a more calculated and professional approach to intimidation, the actions of someone confident in their ability to violate others' rights without consequences. The car bombing incident, which occurred a few weeks after the home invasion, represents an escalation in the alleged campaign of intimidation that demonstrates the sophisticated nature of what prosecutors characterize as violent retaliation within Combs' alleged criminal enterprise. Cudi testified that in January 2012, he received a call from his dog sitter informing him that his Porsche 911 convertible was on fire in his driveway. The timing of this attack, coming after the home invasion and Cudi's refusal to be intimidated, suggests a methodical escalation designed to increase pressure while sending a clear message about the consequences of defying Combs' will. The physical evidence of the car attack provides compelling proof of the violent nature of the alleged crime. Jurors were shown photographs of the destroyed vehicle, including images of a hole that had been cut in the car's fabric roof. Most damning was the discovery of a Molotov cocktail on the passenger seat, clear evidence that this was not an accidental fire but a deliberate act of arson and intimidation. The use of such a device demonstrates both the premeditated nature of the attack and the level of violence that Combs' organization was allegedly willing to employ against perceived threats. Cudi's emotional state following the car bombing, as revealed in his testimony, illustrates the human cost of Combs' alleged criminal behavior. He testified that after the fire, he concluded, "This is getting out of hand. I need to talk to him." This response demonstrates how the escalating violence had achieved its intended psychological effect, forcing Cudi to seek reconciliation not from a position of strength, but from a recognition that he was dealing with someone willing to use extreme violence to achieve compliance. The meeting that followed between Cudi and Combs at a Los Angeles hotel provides insight into how Combs allegedly operated his criminal enterprise. According to Cudi's testimony, Combs denied any involvement in the car fire during their face-to-face meeting. This denial, delivered in person while both men knew the truth, represents the kind of psychological manipulation that prosecutors argue was central to Combs' methods of control. By forcing victims to participate in these charades of normalcy, Combs allegedly maintained plausible deniability while ensuring that his message of intimidation was clearly received. The concluding moment of their meeting, as described by Cudi, perfectly encapsulates the alleged criminal dynamic. When Cudi asked directly, "What are we going to do about my car?" He testified that Combs gave him a very cold stare and responded, "I don't know what you're talking about." This exchange demonstrates both Combs' alleged confidence in his immunity from consequences and his willingness to lie directly to someone he had allegedly just victimized. Cudi's testimony that he was annoyed by this response but let it go illustrates how effectively the intimidation campaign had achieved its purpose. The long-term effects of these alleged crimes extended far beyond the immediate incidents. Cudi testified that several years later, when he encountered Combs at a hotel, Combs apologized for everything. This delayed apology, coming years after the alleged crimes, suggests that Combs eventually recognized the severity of his actions, even if he was unwilling to admit them at the time. The fact that Combs felt compelled to apologize also supports Cudi's version of events and undermines any suggestion that these incidents were misunderstandings or coincidences. During cross-examination, the defense attempted to shift blame to Cassie, with attorney Brian Steele suggesting that she had been living a double life and playing both men against each other. When Steele asked whether Cassie was living two different lives, Cudi acknowledged that, yes, she was. However, this admission actually supports the prosecution's case by demonstrating the atmosphere of fear and control that allegedly forced Cassie to resort to deception and secrecy to maintain any semblance of personal autonomy. Cudi's testimony about learning that Cassie was still involved with Combs adds another layer to the prosecution's narrative about systematic control and manipulation. He testified that he was upset to discover she had decided to return to Combs, but his reaction, disappointment rather than anger, demonstrates the difference between normal human emotions and the violent retaliation that allegedly characterized Combs' response to perceived betrayal. The broader implications of Cudi's testimony extend beyond the specific incidents he described. His account provides the jury with a clear example of how Combs allegedly dealt with external threats to his control. Unlike Cassie, who was allegedly controlled through a combination of emotional manipulation, financial dependence, and physical intimidation, Cudi represented an independent actor with his own resources and success. The alleged response, immediate escalation to home invasion and property destruction, suggests an organization confident in its ability to intimidate even successful, well-connected individuals through violent retaliation. The psychological profile that emerges from Cudi's testimony paints Combs as someone who allegedly viewed any challenge to his control as requiring violent response. The progression from discovering the relationship to home invasion to car bombing suggests not impulsive behavior, but calculated escalation designed to achieve maximum psychological impact. This pattern aligns with the prosecution's broader argument that Combs operated a criminal enterprise rather than simply engaging in domestic violence or personal disputes. The cultural significance of Cudi's testimony cannot be understated. His appearance as a witness against Combs represents a rare moment when the hip-hop community's traditional code of silence breaks down in the face of federal prosecution. Cudi's willingness to testify, despite potential professional and personal costs, demonstrates that even within an industry known for its loyalty codes and resistance to cooperation with law enforcement, there are limits to what will be tolerated. The timing of Cudi's testimony, coming after Cassie's powerful account of alleged abuse and before additional witnesses who will describe other aspects of Combs' alleged criminal enterprise, creates a compelling narrative arc. His testimony serves as a bridge between the intimate abuse allegations from Cassie and the broader pattern of criminal behavior that prosecutors are attempting to establish. By showing how Combs allegedly dealt with external threats, Cudi's account helps the jury understand the full scope of the alleged criminal organization. As Combs sat in the courtroom listening to these allegations, observers noted his subdued demeanor. Although he looked toward the witness stand during Cudi's testimony, neither man seemed to react to the other in any meaningful way. This lack of visible interaction speaks to the gravity of the proceedings and the transformation of what was once a professional relationship within the music industry into a federal criminal matter with potentially life-altering consequences. The evidence presented through Cudi's testimony, From the contemporaneous police report about the home invasion to the photographic evidence of the destroyed car, provides prosecutors with the kind of concrete, verifiable proof that can be particularly persuasive to juries. Unlike some aspects of the case that might rely heavily on witness credibility, the physical evidence supporting Cudi's account makes it difficult for the defense to dismiss his testimony as fabricated or exaggerated. Kid Cudi's testimony stands as a pivotal moment in this federal trial, transforming him from successful recording artist into a key witness in one of the music industry's most significant criminal prosecutions. His courage in facing his alleged tormentor in federal court, despite potential professional and personal costs, exemplifies the kind of truth-telling that may ultimately determine whether justice prevails in this landmark case. The reverberations of his testimony will likely extend far beyond the courtroom, potentially influencing industry practices and power dynamics for years to come.